कल्याणानां निधानं कलिमलमथनं पावनं पावनानां पाथेयं यन्मुमुक्षोः सपदि परपदप्राप्तये प्रस्थितस्य विश्रामस्थानमेकं कविवरवचसां जीवनं सज्जनानां बीजं धर्मद्रुमस्य प्रभवतु भवतां भूतये रामनाम। ध्यायेत् सूर्यम् अनन्तकोटिकिरणं तेजोमयं भास्करं भक्तानामभयप्रदं दिनकरं ज्योतिर्मयं शङ्करम् आदित्यं जगदीशमच्युतमजं त्रैलोक्यचूडामणिं भक्ताभीष्टवरप्रदं दिनमणिं मार्ताण्डमाद्यं शुभम्। ॐ आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। आर्तानामार्तिहन्तारं भीतानां भीतिनाशनं द्विषतां कालदण्डं तं रामचन्द्रं नमाम्यहम्। सन्नद्धः कवची खड्गी चापबाणधरो युवा गच्छन्ममाग्रतो नित्यं राम पातु स लक्ष्मणः। नमः कोदण्डहस्ताय सन्धिकृतशराय च खण्डिताखिलदैत्याय रामाय पन्निवारिणे रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। अग्रतः पृष्ठतश्चैव पार्श्वतश्च महाबलौ आकर्णपूर्णधन्वानौ रक्षेतां रामलक्ष्मणौ। Today, we begin this beautiful text called Aditya Hrdayam. It is a text that is seen in Valmiki Ramayana, and so, like what we did yesterday, we need to first put our text in its proper perspective. What that means is, I take yet another opportunity to mention the spiritual knowledge core of our civilization. The knowledge traditions, beginning with Purana Nyaya Mimamsa Dharma Shastra Anga Mishritaha Vedasthanani Vidyanam Dharmasya cha Chaturdasha. I talked about 14-fold Vedic knowledge, in which we mentioned the first 4 are the very revelations called the Vedas, Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva Vedas, 4 Vedas. And then in order to be able to access these revelations, revelations means it's a body of knowledge, knowledge that is outside the scope of a human being to get. And so this knowledge has been given to us as revelations. And because it is a body of knowledge, it comes in the form of a language, sounds, words, language. And that language is a phonetic language, the classical oldest language of humanity, Sanskritam. And in order to understand the Veda, therefore, we have certain other supporting disciplines of knowledge called Vedanga. And these Vedangas I mentioned were 6 of them: Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Chandas, Niruktam, Jyotisham and Kalpam. 6 means support disciplines of knowledge called Vedangas, beginning with phonetics, Shiksha, and then Vyakaranam, grammar, Chandas, meter, Niruktam, the Vedic words, the dictionary, Yaska's Niruktam, the Vedic dictionary, Jyotisham, the science, the discipline of astrology, astronomy, and Kalpam, the know-how of rituals as given in the Veda. And so we have 4 Vedas, we have 6 Vedangas, and we talked about 4 Upangas. And these 4 Upangas were Nyaya, Mimamsa, Purana Itihasa and Dharma Shastra. Nyaya referred to the discipline of logic. Mimamsa referred to texts that help us, give us tools to analyze the Veda, Mimamsa Shastra. And then we talked about Dharma Shastra, based on the Vedas, in keeping with the moral order of creation, Samanya Dharma. We have Vishesha Dharma or Dharma, the moral order, cosmic order, which is defined by a time in history, a place in history, a geographic situation. And so the laws of the society, which is in keeping with the cosmic law, but it changes in time. And that kind of literature is called Dharma Shastra, given to us by many different sages over time: Yagnavalkya, Parasara, Jaimini, Manu, and so on, so forth. The laws, the civil laws of a society, and so on. And these 3 things form the Upanga. The 4th one being, it's a 4th, but it is called Purana / Itihasa. Purana / Itihasa. Yesterday I focused on Purana because our main text in which Hamsa Gita features is Bhagavata Purana. Today I am going to be a little tricky and I will focus on Itihasa. Itihasa means iti ha asa. Ha, indeed. Iti, thus. Asa, it was. Thus, indeed, it was. This is how it was. It's very clear. And itihasa deals with a time, a specific time in history. Historicity of time. Historical time. Historical time as human beings perceive time. In human history, how time flows. And the happenings in time is called history. My most unfavorite subject in high school. The most nirgunam subject. There is nothing to be excited about history, especially Indian history, the way it is presented. With all its distortions and concoctions, history is the most afflicting course I remember going through. All we learnt was how we were looted and ruled over, and eulogizing and highlighting all these invaders rather than the suffering civilization. Anyway, I don't want to enter into that arena. History, the only time I began to enjoy history was when I entered into our literature. Why? Because history was given in the form of poetry. We have two histories called Ramayana and Mahabharata. Both are considered to be historical poems, and both deal with the lineages, the solar dynasty, the lunar dynasty. Fascinating is this history. It's a historical poem called Ramayana. And it is thus one of the 4 Upangas. And so in the 14-fold Vedic knowledge, I repeat, first 4 being the Vedas, and then 6 Vedangas, and the last 4 Upangas. This is the minimum that every person born and brought up in the Vedic civilization is supposed to study. Oh, really? This is, Ammaji, this is exactly why I didn't begin. Things should have been kept very simple, one book. You just give me some 200, 400 pages and say this is your scripture. I would have read it long ago. But you giving me all these things, now where will I begin? And that is precisely why I never got into it. Oh fool, that is precisely why you should get into it. That is precisely why we need to educate ourselves. When they were not fools who wrote all that they did. We cannot even fathom the profundity and the depth and the vastness of this body of knowledge. And therefore, it is in those days so ancient, and it is so valid even today. That is precisely why I should be neck deep in it. Oh well. we are going to attempt to enter into a very, very tiny speck of one of the 18-fold, or a 14-fold literature, and that is one itihasa. The tradition gives us, the culture gives us two itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. One has only 24,000 verses and the other has only 100,000 verses. Which one do you want? Ammaji, the 24,000 is okay for me. All right, that's exactly why I thought I will begin with that one. And so we have Ramayana, the original Kavya, the Adi Kavya it is called. It is the first poetic literature with a poetic excellence which describes all the Navarasas, the 9, sentiments of a poetic literature. All of them are given there, and so it is called a Mahakavya. Mahakavya. All of them are highlighted. Mahakavya means the great poem. Written by who? Mahakavi, the great poet whose name is Valmiki. And this wonderful work, Mahakavya, Ramayana, over the centuries and centuries, we have seen many versions of Ramayana emerge. And so in this culture we have Adhyatma Ramayanam in Sanskritam, of course, Vashishta Ramayanam, Ananda Ramayanam, Agastya Ramayanam, Kamba Ramayanam in Tamil. We have Tulasi Ramayanam in Hindi. We have Kirtivasa Ramayana in Bengali. And like this, Bhaskara Ramayana in Telugu. We have different Ramayanas, regional versions of Ramayana. Why do we need so many Ramayanas? We don't need so many Ramayanas. We believe in knowledge traditions. All these great souls who wrote Ramayana in the regional languages, highly inspired they were. They all talk about Valmiki Ramayana as the original. He is eternally the Adi Kavi, the first great poet. And hence this takes us to a very important question. Who is this Adi Kavi Valmiki? Who was this poet Valmiki? Being so long ago, thousands of years ago, minimum 15 to 20,000 years ago. So his life, his name is all shrouded in mystery. This was not a culture that believed in documentation. They did not archive and document. Such concepts was not there in those days. Universe documented whatever it had to document. And you wanted some information, you learned to go within, move into the higher planes and tap those sources and get that knowledge. People had access to multi-dimensional universe. They didn't just live in three-dimensional world. And therefore here, Valmiki's story is there are different versions, but I will take one they talk about Valmiki as a 10th son of Varuna Devata. And it is said that even though he had such a divine background, in a young age he fell into wrong company. And then eventually he grows up and becomes a father. He has a family to support. And the important part of the story is that he is unable to support his family. He has elderly parents with him. He has children, his wife. And so he takes two easy ways, and the easiest way is theft. And so he was a dacoit, he becomes a dacoit, and used to catch pilgrims who were passing through the forests and then take away from them whatever they had. And here again there are two versions. One day he meets Narada is one version, and the other version is one day he meets the Sapta Rishis who are passing by. But he meets this sage and they tell him, why are you doing this? Why are you accruing so much papa to yourself? And he says, well, I have to support a family. Give whatever you have, don't ask too many questions. And he says, they tell him, hey, you are taking to these actions for your family's sake. Is your family going to take the results of your actions? All the sins that you're going to incur, all the papa that you're going to incur, if they are sharing your loot, will they share your papa? And he says, of course, they are my family. We share everything we earn. They shake their heads and say, go back home and find out. And he threatens them, if you dare run away, you stand right here. If you dare run away, you can't escape me. No, we are not going anywhere, we'll wait for you. He goes home. First thing, goes to his wife and asks her, look how much I've been supporting you with so much difficulties, stealing from people, and you know how much papa I have incurred, so much sin. But anyway, you are my Ardhangini, you are half of me, part of me, and therefore I'm sure our life is all 50-50, so 50% of this papa you will take to you, right? And she looks at him. Why would I take your sins? You forgot? My pledge before the fire deity during marriage was what? Patni, I am a Saha Dharmacharini. With Lord Agni, fire, God fire, I declared that I am your Ardhangini. I am half of you, part of you. In your activities of dharma, I will always walk with you in your actions for dharma. I declared. So in dharma, of course, I will share 50% of the punyam because I support your dharma and therefore I have a part in it. But adharma, I never made any such promise. If you do adharma, you do wrong, you keep 100%. If you do good, 50% belongs to me. This is the modern taxation law all over the world. You earn money well, 50% belongs to the government. That is exactly what it is. This is how truth is. It is to be shared. And he was shocked. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He went to his parents and said, Father, Mother, look, all this comfort I have brought for you in your old age. Of course, it has come at the big price of all the wrong activities and stealing and all the black marketeering and all that I am doing. But it's all for your comfort. You would share my papa, won't you? And parents look at him. You have still not learned, son. It is your duty to look after your elderly. When you were young, we looked after you righteously. And so when we are old, should you not be doing the same? We have nothing to do with your papa. This dacoit cannot believe. He goes to his children and say, you are my chunu-munnus. You are my stars. You are my eyes. You are my heart. You are my soul. Dad is doing a lot of wrong actions, all to look after you. Would you not be sharing the result of all these wrong actions? Dad, you only taught us not to do wrong actions, didn't you? And if you do, no, but listen, kid, I have to take care of you till you grow up. We have nothing to do with your results. If you did not know how to take care of us righteously, why did you bring us into this world? We are not responsible. You are responsible. We have nothing to do with your papa karma. What a heart attack, This is how the heart gets attacked. He runs back to his Saptarishis, Narada, falls at their feet and says, what a crime I have done. What is it? How can I redeem myself? Please guide me, help me. And they say, there is only one simple word. Recite this word till that very sound becomes your power to help you cross all these sins. Yes, give me, what is that word? I will do nothing other than recite this word. Well, this word is Rama. Rama. What? Rama. This thief had so much papa in him. Sometimes even the simplest word will not come out of the mouth, Simplest word won't come. And this word kept getting stuck. He couldn't recite. And so they tell him, okay, you say ma, ra, ra. Now repeat. Ma-ra, ma-ra, ma-ra. Now continuously repeat. Ma-ra, 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 ma-ra. He found himself reciting Rama Shabda. And reciting, there was nothing else that mattered. He closed his eyes and continued the recitation. Years later, when those Saptarishis were passing that way again, they saw this big anthill. The white ants had made a hill, and from inside this anthill, they could hear Ram. And they wondered, what is this? Anthill is not singing Rama. Let us see who it is, what it is. And they break open the anthill. The anthill is known as Valmika. And born of Valmika emerged from Valmika is this soul who knew nothing but Rama. Years had gone by. He had only one word in his lips, Rama. And they called him Valmiki. Valmika prabhavaha yasmat tasmat Valmiki. Born of Valmika is Valmiki. And Valmiki emerges from that anthill, and he is in search of knowing who is this Rama. Who is Rama that has been talked about? And so he asks Narada, please tell me. Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram Naradam paripapracha Valmikir munipungavam Konvasmin sampratam loke Gunavan kascha viryavan Dharmajnascha kritajnascha Satyavakyo dridhavrataha Charitrena cha ko yuktaha Sarvabhuteshu kohitaha Vidwan kakka samarthascha Kaschaika priyadarshanaha Atmavan ko jita krodhaha Dyutiman ko nasuyakaha Kasya bibhyati devascha Jataroshasya sanyuge. He wants to know. He wants to know in this whole wide world on earth, is there anyone? Papracha, paripapracha. Valmiki asked. Who? Who is Valmiki? Muni Pungavam. Great Rishi Valmiki. He asked Narada. Who was Narada? Tapaswadhyaya niratam. Tapasvi, the great Tapasvi. Vagvidam varam Naradam. To this Narada, who was a tapaswadhyaya, who was always in tapas and swadhyaya, penance and own learning of the glories of the divine, to this Narada, Valmiki asked. What did he ask? This is the beginning, Balakanda, the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana. He asked him, hey, is there anyone in this Sampritam Loke, in these current times, in our contemporary time, who is this person? Is there anyone we can look up to who's Gunavan, Viryavan, who is courageous, who has maturity, who has qualities, Dharmajnaha, who knows what is dharma, right and wrong, Kritajnaha, the one who is Kritam janati, what is to be done, not to be done, the one who knows, Satya Vakyaha, the one who speaks, his words, you open your mouth, there are people when they open their mouth, only falsehood pops out. Hey, is there anyone when they open their mouth, there is truth emerges. Dridhavrataha, who takes a vow and then holds on to it. Doesn't flip-flop, doesn't change, doesn't confuse people. January 1st you take one vow and by 3rd January the vow is buried until next January. Who will trust me with my vows when I do such things? And therefore, Dridhavrataha, You take a vow, hold on to it, deliver. Until delivered, don't turn back. Why? Because the word is given. Imagine in a society where there was no MOU signed. People even violate MOUs, memorandums of understanding. What understanding? The whole understanding is with the universe. If a word is uttered, they will stake their life on it. Because it is uttered, it's declared. It needs to be actualized. They will not withdraw. And therefore, before uttering, you're supposed to think 10 times. We say things. Half the time we say, hey, you know what, we didn't mean that way. We didn't mean this way. We didn't mean that way. Half our life is gone in correcting what we have uttered. Which was the sophisticated, evolved civilization, then or now? We need to ask ourselves. I'm not answering questions like that. And so, Satyavakyaha dridhavrataha, charitrena cha ko yuktaha. The one who had charitra, one who had conduct, one who had nobility, one who followed the family traditions. And sarva bhuteshu kohitaha. Is there a person who cares for all life forms? All life, not just human-centric. One whose activities are life-centric. Is there anybody? Vidwan kaha. And this person, is there someone who's informed, who has knowledge? Samarthascha, who is capable. In Laukika Vyavahara, capable. In understanding the world, there are many scholars, they live in their own world, They are not grounded people. Sometimes these scientists who only know their laboratories. Sometimes you find doctors who only know what is inside the body. They don't know body. They only know body as nerves and ligaments and whatnot. People get so caught. And so you may have knowledge, but then do you also have vyavaharas, samarthyam, capacity to live in the world, to understand the world? And ekapriya darshanaha. So ekapriya darshanaha, one who is always lovable, not moody. Morning the person is smiling, by noon frowning, by evening depressed. One who is consistent, lovable at all times. Atmavan, one who's Atmavan, one who has self-control, self-restraint. Jita Krodaha, very important, one who has mastered his anger. In Bhagavad Gita, this anger is one quality, is looked upon as one of the biggest enemies of life. Kama, desire is one, the second one is anger. Obstructed desire is anger. Is there anyone who has conquered anger? Jita Krodaha. Dyutiman. Dyutiman means one who is radiant. With all these qualities, he doesn't look tired, exhausted. Why are you so exhausted? Because I am so righteous. If you're righteous, you are in sync with the world. You must be radiant and happy and fearless, clear-eyed, clear expressions. And that is Dyutiman. Kaha Anusuya Kaha. One who is free from jealousies. Jealousy means comparison. Comparison means competition. Competition means the first casualty in competition is love, care for the world. And so he is one who has no jealousies. Kasya bibhyati devascha. Even the devas, even the higher beings are afraid of this person's dharma. Why? Jata roshasya sanyuge. Sanyuge means in the war, he is one who is committed to making right anything that goes wrong, making it right, that even the higher worlds are afraid of his commitment, the power of his dharma. Is there such a person? Is there such a human being in this planet? Is a question not asked today, asked by Valmiki then to sage Narada. And this begins this wonderful poetic literature called Ramayana. In answer to this question, we have Narada gives an answer. And what is his answer? His answer is from verse number 8 to 18 in Balakanda. And he describes a number of qualities, some 68 qualities are described. Yes, there is a person, Ikshvakuvamsha Prabhavaha. He describes from the 8th verse, there is a person like that who's born in the lineage of this solar dynasty. And do you know something? Sri Rama is the 34th generation of that dynasty. Imagine, we don't even know our grandfather's name. You want to know how history is maintained? To go back, to be able to go back and back and back. 34 generations back is Ikshvaku. And this Ikshvaku, who is he? He is the oldest son of Manu. Who is Manu? Manu is the oldest son of Vivaswan. Who is Vivaswan? Vivaswan is the son of Kashyapa. Who is the son of Marichi? Who is the son of Brahmaji? And therefore from Brahmaji, the very creator, the 38th generation is Sri Rama. This is how the descendants of the clan, of the dynasty, the solar dynasty, they emerge from the sun, this dynasty. There is no human being. We are all celestial beings. Don't call yourself an earthling. You have come from the planet sun, moon, stars. And therefore this celestial being, this Sri Rama, and he is the 34th generation. His description is given, 68 qualities are talked about, and some general qualities, some physical qualities, and some qualities of his great valor. A lot of hype you find for Sri Rama. Hype is not the word really. I say all this about Sri Rama because one very interesting turn is going to take place, which is very relevant to our text, Aditya Hrdayam. When you look at Sri Rama as such an ideal human being, in fact, he is a very incarnation. Do you know something? We will see in some detail in the next class. While all these other Ramayanas, the authors, describe Sri Rama as a divine being, as an incarnation. As an incarnation, he is God incarnated on earth for a purpose, of course, and therefore we worship him. We worship him. There are temples for Sri Rama, but Valmiki's purpose is different. Valmiki presents Sri Rama as a human being. He presents Sri Rama, not that he denies his divine nature, but the divinity of Sri Rama is relegated to the background. And what is highlighted as Sri Rama as a human being, living human lives, as any human beings would live. And therefore, Sri Rama is not available for you to just worship him and forget about him. Offer your prayers once a week. Chant Rama stotram, apadam apahartaram, dataram, sarvasampadam, yogaviramam, shriramam, bhuyo bhuyo namamyaham. Run. Sorry. Sri Rama inspires you with his life, with his actions, with his expressions, with his commitment to dharma. He shows you a possibility that even though there are human failings, human limitations, you can still ascend in your qualities. You can still live a life of dharma. And you may slip, but it's okay. You may cry, it is okay. You may be afflicted, it's okay. But never give up dharma. No matter what difficulties one may have to face in life, that is called human life, my dear. Welcome to human living. And so Sri Rama becomes the ideal human being. And in Valmiki's description, from the first section called Balakanda up to the end, the Yuddha Kanda, he makes it a point, and I would like to quickly walk through that with you in the next session and reach our chapter. There are 7 sections, 7 kandas, actually 6. The 7th one is said to be added later. I don't know, there are controversies on that. But these 6, the 6th one is Yuddha Kanda, the section on the war. And that is exactly where our Aditya Hrdayam text is going to emerge. More on this text, Valmiki's Ramayana, leading to Aditya Hrdayam, we will see when we meet in the next class. I shall close here for now. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.